And then in Travis County, authorities have confirmed 7 deaths with 10 people still missing, including a 17-year-old girl.
I'm still processing. I've been waking up every day again at 4 a.m. with that terrible feeling.
And we're hearing tonight from survivors who escaped the rising waters in Travis County.
KXAN's Grace Reeder joins us from Leander. Now, Grace, you spent some time speaking with people in one of the hardest hit areas. What did they tell you?
The mood here, very somber, very sad. We're outside of the Round Mountain Baptist Church, which has really been a center for people to come get help among these devastating floods. It's also near some of the hardest hit areas that we have seen in Travis County. Just down the street here, there are still cars and trees, homes that have floated down the street. And just a couple blocks away, volunteers tell me that 3 of those confirmed dead died in this area. The search for missing people and recovery effort continues along Big Sandy Creek in western Travis County today, after floods devastated this area in the early morning hours of July 5th.
Complete total destruction.
Volunteers out of Round Mountain Baptist Church worked to get water and supplies to those in their community without right now. For this volunteer and so many others, this is personal. This man's friend lost his wife, son, and daughter. He used to drive them to school.
This boy was really good. Sweet kid. His daughter was a sweetheart too.
20 minutes away,
I don't recognize it.
a family that narrowly escaped the floodwaters near Jonestown are returning to their home for the first time, now destroyed, and reliving the moments they woke up to screams and realized they were about to be underwater.
And there's a rushing river underneath us, right here, under here. But my house, I can feel it, is about to go. It's moved several feet. That tree stopped it.
4 children and 2 adults, plus some pets, made their way out of this house and into the floodwaters before finally making it to safety.
We both just knew to stay calm, not turn crazy and just start running, because then we knew that they would have been probably taken away by the water.
Now, for many in this community, all that's left are memories and gratitude that they're still alive today.
Just have so many pictures, and I'm just going to always remember those spaces. And now I come out here and it is washed in a second. It's gone.
I touched base with Travis County within the hour, and they tell me that 7 people are confirmed dead, 10 people still missing at this hour. Daniel and Jen.
Statewide, officials confirm 109 people killed by catastrophic flooding as we enter our 5th day of rescue and recovery. Today, the Burnet County Sheriff's Office confirmed crews found another person there swept away by flooding.
In total, that is 5 deaths confirmed in Burnet County alone. 1 person, though, does remain missing. Marble Falls Volunteer Fire Chief Michael Phillips. We go now to KXAN's Mercedes Hernandez, who's joining us live from Burnet County, where some of these search efforts are continuing today. Mercedes, what's the latest that you've seen out there?
Yes, the latest is that Chief Phillips is the lone person that they are looking for here. We've been seeing helicopters flying overhead here in Burnet County, lots of K9 units, and those search and rescue efforts just extremely ramped up. We're just down the street from Faith Academy. That's where all of those efforts are being based out of, and we've been seeing just truck after truck full of those responders. They're hauling boats, they're hauling trailers, anything to try and help locate Chief Phillips at this time. We did hear from Burnet County Sheriff Calvin Boyd this morning. He tells us that they are exhausting every single avenue they can to find him. Some challenges that they have come across right now is really just the terrain and the level of damage. The damage here in parts has been catastrophic. You're seeing guardrails twisted up like they're made of tinfoil, and cars just floating away and just taken away, sometimes miles downriver. And so he says that the terrain, just the difficult of getting to that area where Phillips was last seen, is really playing a huge part in these search efforts.
And Mercedes, we had heard from the sheriff in the past few days that they did find the fire chief's vehicle and some of his personal effects, but still not him at this time. Are they talking about how they're integrating some of these different searchers, maybe taking them out of the mix because of how long and some of the areas that they're going in to do this search?
Sheriff Boyd tells us that thankfully they have had a lot of help. Even when we were checking in to try and meet with him this morning, we saw a handful of San Marcos Fire Department staffers, firefighters, just come up and ask, hey, we're here on our day off. Please put us wherever you can. We've seen tons of troopers. There are National Guardsmen out here too. So he says that they've had plenty of help on deck, but we know that they have, covered the ground pretty extensively. They've had plenty of people going on foot, just walking into the storm affected areas, but also we've seen those helicopters and those drones as well. So they're incorporating a lot of technology into these search efforts as well.
Mercedes, something we heard yesterday from Burnet County officials was the difficulty of some of these search and rescue efforts because of the terrain in the hill country, the hills around Marble Falls, around Burnet. Talk about what you've seen for folks who maybe haven't been out that direction. For some of us here in Austin, what is that terrain looking like as you drive around? How are roads impacted, and why might that make the search effort even more difficult?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, in some of these more rural outlying parts outside of town, where we are right now is in Marble Falls, and we were trying to go down, I believe it was Ranch to Market Road 1174. That's near where Chief Phillips was last seen. We tried to go down that road. It was only a 2-lane, one way in, one way out kind of situation, and it is still closed. So that's something that I think they're running into quite a bit, is that these roads are just so badly damaged, and there's really no way in or out. You just kind of have to cross your fingers and hope that off-roading it will work out for the best. And some of these vehicles are really big too, so they have to take that into consideration as well. But as he stresses, they did have dozens of those rescues at that time, and they're hoping that for the best outcome when it comes to Chief Phillips right now.
Well, tonight we hear from a mother and daughter in Kerr County who climbed onto their roof as rushing floodwaters took over the second story of their home.
And they tell KXAN's Brianna Hollis how grateful they are for the people who kept them safe, as well as neighbors and strangers who are helping them now.
Here's the vantage point from Courtney Garrison and her daughter Stella as they stood on their roof just feet away from raging floodwaters crashing into their home.
Emotionally terrified, but we could feel all of the water. I mean, we were sitting up there like watching stuff come out.
That mother and daughter were on this roof. They live above the Hunt store, and you can see it has collapsed. They say that actually happened as they were up there waiting to get rescued.
Right there, she said, go this, if it falls, hang on to one of those poles or go that way.
Once we felt it start moving, I was like, at what point do we jump?
They were terrified, but they weren't alone.
There's a local cop, Cottonware, that lives up the road here, and so he sat down here and talked to us on a speaker. He was like, I see y'all. Nobody can get to you, but I see you.
The flood never fully submerged the home, and once the water receded, a neighbor helped them off the roof with a ladder. Once they got to dry land, that's when they began to learn about the death toll and the number of people unaccounted for.
She had a lot of friends that were at Camp Mystic. She watched some of her friends go.
In the days that followed, they've held on to each other just a little tighter.
We have so many people rallying around us. It's incredible. While we lost everything, we are still here. So that's really all that matters.
In Kerr County, Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
The floods destroyed a historic business in West Kerr County. The Hunt store isn't just a shop, it's a restaurant, it's a music venue, and a place where the community comes together. Brianna Hollis shows us what's left of it and the spirit it embodies that lives on.
Right here is the back of the fireplace. During the winter time, we would come right over here and you'd sit by the fire. They'd have it going. The kids would get their snacks, coffees, and we'd sit by the fireplace, and it was like a gathering place.
Tyler Ward says he rarely ever went a day without a stop at the Hunt store.
We were here almost every single day, and if we weren't, the kids were begging in the backseat of the car to come here.
A community staple in Kerr County, barely a frame of what it once was. The Hunt store isn't only a household name, but a home to everyone who knows it. We asked Ward to describe how he felt looking at the damage.
Well, first of all, broken. Confused. The last one is the most important one, and it's hope.
Here we are at the Hunt store. This was the center of the community.
Well, of course, the first thing you see when you look at the Hunt store is that it's destroyed. But there are two specific things that I really want to point out. They rearranged the letters to spell out Hunt Strong, and someone came by to drop flowers off earlier. Everyone who we've spoken with out here today says the community has been absolutely phenomenal in their support.
I have no words to describe what has happened here.
Even in the store's absence, people continue to pack the property's parking lot. It's become a home base for things like food and water, or even just a hug or friendly conversation.
And we're going to be stronger than we were before.
Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
Authorities have confirmed 7 deaths in Travis County, with 10 people still missing.
The Sandy Creek area has been hit the hardest by flooding in the county. Sam Stark joins us from Travis County, where one man is desperate for answers as he looks for his parents. Sam.
Yeah, Jen, Daniel, I'm standing in a lot where Dan and Virginia Daly's trailer and car were just a few days ago. Both of those vehicles were swept downstream by powerful floodwaters. I talked to their son about his relentless search to find them both.
Found my parents' key.
Wesley Daly walks Big Sandy Creek for the 3rd day in a row, looking to answer this question.
Where is everyone else?
Dan and Virginia Daly live along Big Sandy Creek. He said Virginia was posting about the missing children in Kerr County late Friday night, and then just hours later, the creek outside her home started to spill its banks.
Somewhere in between 2 and 2:30 is when we hear that the floods ran in. They've been missing for about over 48 hours now.
Floodwaters swept away their trailer and their car. Here their red car found destroyed 100 yards downstream from where it was parked.
The trailer's in pieces. We're finding pieces of it probably stretched out half a mile.
Wesley said a neighbor heard his parents crying for help, trying to escape the floodwaters that morning. While he is scared, he's not giving up hope that his mom or dad were among those rescued. And he will not stop until they are found.
My parents, they're important in our lives. So they have grandkids and they have both fought their medical issues, but they love their family and they weren't ready to go.
Wesley said that he and others felt this area was overlooked shortly after the flood happened. For the first few days, he said that there were very few officials down here helping, but he said that presence has picked up quite a bit in the last 24 hours. Jen, Daniel.
Hey, keep out of the water. Local authorities are warning that many of our local lakes are still moving. They're fast-moving waters, and there's a lot of debris in it.
Yeah, we're hearing from the Lower Colorado River Authority, which says it's going to close some floodgates at 2 different dams starting this morning. KXAN's Mercedes Hernandez is live at one of them, Starkey Dam at Lake Marble Falls in Burnet County. So, Mercedes, what is the agency doing right now as we have all this water that's flowing into the Highland Lakes?
Yes, they tell us that they're, of course, going out and surveying their facilities, making sure nothing was really too badly damaged as a result of those floods. But they're right now just ultimately raising awareness about just how dangerous the aftermath of that runoff can be. I want you to take a look at the water just looking out over here this morning. It's hard to imagine that something that's so beautiful right now was so destructive, and we know has claimed so many lives over the weekend. Now, LCRA does tell us that until further notice, they really advise everyone to stay off of the water at Lakes Buchanan, Inks, LBJ, Marble Falls, and Travis. Now, earlier this week, the city of Austin, who manages Lake Austin, closed access there because of the danger that the water posed to the public. They extended that closure through this afternoon. And there is just a lot of runoff from that flood. Since July 3rd, Lake Buchanan rose 7 feet, and over at Lake Travis, more than 18 feet. It's risen there, and both are expected to gain a couple more feet in the coming days. LCRA survey crews today are expected to go out and check the Comal and Guadalupe rivers because there, most of the boat ramps and access to the river has been closed off because things are just moving so quickly. There is so much debris. They need to see just how soon they can be opened back up and just what needs to be done there. Live at Starkey Dam, Mercedes Hernandez, KXAN News.